Welcome to this week's Buggy That Pudge podcast. And not watched anything, not played anything, I've not read anything, not listened to anything. But Keith's seen everything apparently between now and the previous podcast. He's watched all content that exists in the world.
I'm gonna have to start calling you Nigel.
I was gonna say I've Nigeled this one up, but I avoided that. But I've Nigeled this week. I haven't been well. I've struggled with everything. I went to the gym once. I did one proper task at work where usually I do about 13 or 14. Everything's just been bloody difficult for me. And I wanted to see Oppenheimer this morning. I was too bloody lazy to get out of bed.
It's 3 hours fucking long, dude.
It's 3 hours long. I was worried that I'd go there and just fall asleep. I'm definitely not watching Barbie. Watching Barbie.
I did struggle in the middle, but that's because I had a couple hours sleep last night. But I did struggle in the middle a tiny bit. So I think I missed a couple of bits, but I've seen it. I've seen it. So we can talk about. I can talk about that. I've seen a lot this week.
You've seen a lot. You've seen all the content ever. So I haven't seen Hijack. I haven't watched The Witcher.
I refuse to watch it.
I've done nothing. I haven't even gone. I thought I'd watch it like on fast forward just to go through it and see if anything interesting happened. So right. So should we talk about Oppenheimer to start with, because I don't want you to spoil it too much for me. So the first thing is I recently I've discovered I have a problem with films that I don't know where they're going to end or where the end point is. Yeah. Hang on a second. I'm just right. My fucking co-host on another podcast is giving me shit on this one. All right. Just point out the Oliver twins.
No. Amstrads are better. I had an Amstrad. It was awesome.
Thank you very much.
I can weigh in on this one. I had an Amstrad. It was epic. I played Dizzy on it. Harry Attack. Literally, I sat there with a space bar and went like that. Bombed the shit out of the village, and it was cool. That was what I got out of video games. Yeah,
I'd just like to point out, Keith just admitted to committing a war crime, but we'll keep he bombed the village.
Harry Attack. It was awesome. Took about 30 minutes to load.
Anyway, I was going to say. Anyway, I didn't do the Game Face Punch podcast this week because it wasn't right. But we're going to talk about We'll talk about some Spider-Man footage, and maybe we'll talk about how Amstrad's much better later.
Keith, let the side down.
Keith didn't let the side down. You're on the wrong side. That's the problem.
My dad had so many games on that Amstrad. So many Paperboy. Was that Mummy? There was Monkey Island, wasn't it? Monkey Island, Island.
No, it wasn't. Not on the Amstrad. No, it couldn't.
Was it Dizzy? No, there was Dizzy.
Dizzy. Treasure Island Dizzy.
Yeah, that was it.
Probably think of with a stupid inventory. You just and you have to be careful, because if you went underwater and you had the breathing thing, if it was in the wrong order, you want to go pick something up and then you drop it and drown. It took us a week to figure that out. But I was a small child, so. Anyway, this is not the Gaming Face Punch podcast. This is the Monkey Now Punch podcast. And despite my host from Thingy, hello Biffa as well. So hello Biffa, hello Steve. Apart from that, it's let's talk about. I want to hear some stuff about Oppenheimer, but not too spoilerific, if you don't mind. So I was saying, I have a problem with films ending properly, and one of the criticisms I have heard about this film is, because you're expecting it to build up to the point, he makes the bomb, they detonate the bomb, small fallout from the bomb, and then it ends. It doesn't do that, does it? Okay. No. All right.
I mean, anybody that's interested in cinema should see this film, because in many ways it's a cinematic masterclass. But now, look, I understand he's trying to tell the story of Oppenheimer, and it doesn't end with the Trinity test and dropping the bomb, and then it doesn't end there. But the thing is, that happens halfway through the film, and that is the only time you see a bomb going off. Now, at the beginning of the film, he cleverly sort of takes you into the quantum realm of like atoms exploding and things, and you keep seeing that through his eyes, but that stops after the explosion. And then the film kind of just goes, and then it doesn't really build up to anything other than Strauss kind of not getting the nomination. But that's nowhere near as like cinematic as the bomb. And the bomb going off wasn't as spectacular as I thought it was going to be. I don't know if it's better on IMAX. It might have looked better in IMAX. But on the smaller size, big screen, it didn't. It's kind of blink and you miss it.
Okay. So hang on, did he nuke something?
No.
Oh,
I mean, you don't. It didn't even. You don't really see the mushroom that much, and I'm interested to get your opinion on it. Look, he did some clever things, like Oppenheimer is in almost every single scene, right? And he does the switching between black and white and color. And I'll give you a hint, right? The color is from Oppenheimer's point of view. The black and white is from Strauss's point of view. It's not a time thing, because people go, oh, the black and white's a time thing. No, it's not. Because if you look at the way the film is written, it's written from the first person. So it's written either from Oppenheimer's point of view or Strauss's point of view. And when it's Strauss's point of view, it's black and white. And Robert Downey Jr. is brilliant in the part. Really, really good. It's an interesting film. I kind of like the very final scene. The final scene is quite poignant, and I like it. So no, it does have an ending. And the very final scene is
no, it's not.
Good.
No, it's not about it not having an ending. It's about when you watch these films, you don't know where the ending's going to be.
No,
if you know what I mean. So it's like usually you have it like kind of superheroes are easy, beat the bad guy, yeah. But because this is like kind of, I don't know if it was going to end with the fusion bomb test where he sits there and sends the message to the guy, congratulations, it's a boy. Oh, sorry, the guy sends him a message. I can't remember the fella's name.
They don't show that.
Okay.
But it kind of, after the bomb test, it goes down like that, and you never see anything of the two Japanese bombs. You find out through his eyes, and he found out via the radio. You get a scene with Truman that makes Truman look like a complete arsehole, and that apparently that was quite near to the truth.
Oppenheimer was an arsehole too.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, and you see that
he got two of his guys irradiated, knowing that it would kill them. Yeah. When they were putting the bomb together.
They don't feature that.
They don't feature that.
No.
In another biopic I've seen, it features that.
He doesn't come across as an altogether nice person. And I believe that some of it is kind of dramatically, there's dramatic license for some of it.
I expect a bit of drama in a film. Who would have thought?
But the fight, it's building to an end, kind of. Yes, we did get the quote several times. In fact, we see it from different angles and at different points in time. So yes, we get the quote. And you'll know what I mean, because you see the same scene twice, a couple of times, from different perspectives. And that's done quite well. Look, this is never going to be at the top of my Nolan list of favorite films. And I would argue that recently he's made Tenet. I've got to go back and watch again, because actually I probably would like Tenet if I watch it again. And I'd probably enjoy it more. It's hard. Again, you know how I said that I felt Dunkirk felt a bit claustrophobic, and I know it was. It felt. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but it didn't convey the epicness of it, and it doesn't do that. It never does that.
I don't think it was supposed to, though. It was supposed to.
No,
sorry. With Dunkirk, they're trapped on a. They are trapped. That spells claustrophobia.
I understand what he was going for, but I just don't. I know what you're saying, but it didn't work for me when the film is meant to be conveying Dunkirk. You call a film Dunkirk, named after an event. He didn't show the epicness of it, and I think that's.
He did.
No, he didn't. He didn't show the thousands of ships. You never get.
He did. I can point at frames.
Yeah, it felt claustrophobic. It doesn't feel. It feels a bit like Doctor Who. See, the fucking first season of Doctor Who with the what's her face. There's nobody outside that world. It feels insular.
Yeah, because it wanted to convey across that they were trapped.
I know what.
And if
I know what he was doing.
Yeah, and it's like, and then having that we've gone off into Dunkirk territory, but having the feeling that there's some unseen enemy that's going to get you at any bloody moment. Yeah,
I know what he was going for, but Dunkirk was such a big thing. In some places, he makes it look small, and it wasn't, and he does the same here. He makes it look small, and he doesn't adequately convey how many people were involved in the Manhattan Project. He doesn't. He focuses on Oppenheimer. I get it. The movie's called Oppenheimer, right? But again, he takes these huge, momentous things in history, produces what is arguably a very pretentious film around it, and it is pretentious in places. He then sort of just, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I actually prefer. I'd actually probably put, having said what I said about Dunkirk, I think I'd put Dunkirk above this, because I like the pilot's story of Dunkirk. And whilst there's 3 different timelines, and I just have to say, hello, Dave! There's
He wants to plug his new book. He'll type it in the box in a moment.
I preferred the pilot's story in Dunkirk, but the music is less intense in this, but it does have a score. But it's long. And I think it's an hour too long. There's a lot of. It feels like the 5th Harry Potter book where he didn't have an editor, she didn't have an editor.
How did you fall asleep in Dunkirk?
I get that. There is a moment. I tell you what, though, there was one thing that was very cleverly done. They show a scene of them putting the bomb together, the test one, right? Yeah. And they use drone sounds, right? But it comes in and out, and the way it does it, and it spans all around the speakers, right? And it's very cleverly done, because I know what drone sounds like, right? And this felt eerie. That was very cleverly done. When they're putting the bomb together, no, this isn't a book plug. When they're putting the bomb together, it feels really eerie. And there are great scenes between him and Matt Damon as the general character, and the bit when they're sort of, setting up Los Alamos, or what was it, Los Alamos? Los Alamos. That was interesting. That was a bit where I fell asleep, though. But yeah, I mean, it carries on for about another hour and 20 minutes after the Trinity test. But the final scene is quite poignant. And it's a payback to something that happens almost at the beginning of the film. But that final scene, and when he says what he says, you go, shit, yeah. And it was like, yeah. And it makes sense. And I know why he did it, because you have to watch all the way through to get what is said between two characters. And I'm not going to spoil it for you what the final scene is, but there is a that final scene I thought was good. I thought that final scene was good.
All right. So, okay. So, being a nuclear bomb aficionado, right. So it doesn't go through like the other bombs that were done. So it doesn't go through the fusion bomb that was created. It doesn't go through the Tsar bomber.
It touches on his opposition to the H bomb. And it talks about, one of the lead scientists there who wanted to develop the H bomb, who theorized that they could use an atom bomb to create an H bomb. And there's a scene between that. Then there's a couple of other scenes between that that scientist. Then Oppenheimer kind of changes his mind and really is against it. That scientist then speaks out against him at his hearing, and the wife doesn't forgive him. That plays out. No, they don't, and they do talk about a super bomb and things like that, but they don't show the development bit. No.
Okay, it's weird because I always looking at this film, I felt if they did it right, this could be a prequel to Godzilla. It's right. So it's a weird one because when Nolan said he was doing another kind of film set towards like the World War II era, I was hoping he was going to do what's referred to as the greatest raid of all time, which is the Saint-Nazaire raid with the British commandos against the Germans. Because if you know that story, that's a Hollywood story in itself, and I recommend that if you look it up. They have YouTube, made a film. Jeremy Clarkson does a thing. They haven't made a film on that one.
Yeah, they have.
What film was
that? Black and white one. No, there is a black and white film because I've seen it.
No, because you're going to sit there and you're going to confuse it with one of the Force 10 from Navarone films.
Because I used to go to Saint-Nazaire, so I know the story of them sending they're basically sending the dummy ship, isn't it? The Trojan horse kind of thing.
It was just operation. It was a bomb. It was a ship turned into a giant bomb. So they were going to crash into the lock gates at the thing, so the Tirpitz couldn't dock.
There's a film. There is a film. It's really old, and I can't remember what it's called because it was called Operation Chariot, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't called Operation Chariot. It was called.
There's a film because I remember. Who was in it?
I don't think it had a name actually. I think it didn't. It was just. I think it didn't.
Are you talking about the ship that the Germans captured, thinking and it was just rigged and it blew up?
It's the one, right? So you had the Tirpitz, yeah. The Tirpitz destroyed a load of British ships, naval ships. Churchill said, "Get this bloody boat out of the water, any way you can." Okay, so the commandos recently formed, brand new, pretty much set the standard for current special forces. Went in there, 200-man force. They had, I think it was one rigged up German destroyer-looking boat, several little kind of small wooden boats, no cover from the RAF and that. And they drove the boat into the lock gate and it didn't detonate. Yeah, they also managed to the commanders managed to get onto the land, destroy half the submarine pens, do countless damage to the point that Hitler said, if you find a commando, you're allowed to shoot them on sight. Yeah, forget the rules of engagement. You can shoot them on sight because of the amount of damage that they caused. Yeah, and at the end, when they got caught because it was like pretty much doomed. The bomb went off, and it's just like kind of it would make a fantastic film.
Yeah, it's called Attack on the Iron Coast.
But
based upon them. Yeah, but you're right. I agree. Basically, I know what I get what you're talking about, and yeah, you're right that Nolan could pull it off. What he chose to do was a very borderline pretentious film on Oppenheimer, and it is. I mean, cinematically, from a cinematic perspective, I mean, it's made for the cinema, and it's why you go and see these films. And the scenes, his dreams, his sort of daydreaming, and stuff.
Sorry, I just like to point out, yeah. I looked at the Attack on the Iron Coast. Americans have absolutely fucking nothing to do with the raid.
I know.
It's got freaking Lloyd Bridges in it.
I know.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at that. That's not even It's not even remotely close.
It's the same as the U-52 film where the Americans got the Enigma code. Yeah. You didn't even know about it till 1991. America, you didn't even know until 1991.
They did. No, the higher ups knew because we had to demonstrate it to the fact that we'd managed to figure that out. But yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't not enjoy it. From a cinematic perspective, there are some incredible things in it. But it just feels quite small. It doesn't feel. Even Dunkirk felt bigger in terms of practical effects and everything. And I think Nolan works better when he's doing a practical effects movie. He works better in a slightly sci-fi way. I think he's better at the sci-fi kind of thing, or I think that's where he works better. Sort of your Interstellars, your Inceptions, your Tenants. That's where I think he works best. But having said that, boy, God, has it got a cast, Oppenheimer? I mean, fuck. There is a lot of actors that I didn't even know. I mean, Gary Oldman plays Truman. There you go. He's played Churchill and fucking Truman.
Yeah.
So,
just right. So this is the thing. I like Tenet.
I've got to go back and watch it. Yeah.
There's some dumb things in it, but I thought it was fun. I'll be honest with you. There are a few directors that I can watch, yeah, and pretty much I like all their stuff. And two of them are Ridley Scott and Christopher Nolan. Even on a bad day, they could still make better fucking films than most people. On a bad day, they're good. Their terrible films are still better than other people's films. I'll be frank with you.
Absolutely true. I mean, look, it takes a certain type of filmmaker to make this type of film. And I'm not going to lie, I don't think it's going to go down as his best film. I think Cillian, however you say, his Murphy as Oppenheimer was brilliant. I mean, fantastic. The movie is well cast. The movie is very well cast. And it sheds light on parts of his history that people might not know. He tried to kill his professor at Cambridge in the UK. And that the movie dramatizes that slightly more. But I like Prestige, but I think Interstellar is better.
You know what? I watched. That's one thing. That's one thing I did do. I watched Interstellar at the cinema.
Yeah, well, I've watched. Yeah,
I watched it. I watched it because my son wanted to see it. He was too young. I don't even think he was born when it first came out, so he couldn't watch it. So we went both and watched it at the cinema. And you're not going to like this, but Inception has a better sound score. And you'll go no, because this is. Hang on a second. This is a bit right. If you go back,
I think overall you're right.
But
I think you're right.
Hang on a second. Interstellar has
the chase.
An exceptional piece of music in it for the
chase. I think it's the chase bit where he's chasing down the drone. That is the one of the best. Yeah,
I think the mountains. I think the mountains one with the wave on the black hole planet just tops it. And if you listen, it's weird because if you listen to the piece of music on its own, which is called Cornfield or something, yeah, that sounds fantastic. But in the film, it doesn't sound as good. Yeah.
Biffa, you've got to go back and watch that movie because it's not an alien black hole.
What is it?
It's not.
It's supposed to be a tesseract, isn't it?
It's us. It's us. In the
black
future.
Hole?
Yes, we created it. It's us. That's how he goes back and drops the seeds. It's us.
It's not. Right, now hold on. It's not a black hole. Yes?
It is. Oh, no, it's not a black hole. It's a wormhole. Wormhole.
It's not. No. There's a wormhole. There's a wormhole near. Yeah. I've watched it recently, so you're going to struggle, and I'm going to beat you quite clearly on this one because I know what I'm doing. You've got the wormhole. near Saturn, yeah, and then they get to Gargantua, or whatever it is, which is the black hole at the destination, yeah. But that's not a black hole, and the reason that's not a black hole is that he didn't get spaghettified when he went through it, because he would have just died horribly.
But it is humans, but it's humans evolved, and that's what it is.
No, the things that had dropped off and helped them out were from that colony that him and I can't remember her name now. Brand set up. Yeah. They were the people that evolved on a different planet. Yeah. Well, no, because he goes back and sets it up with her. Because his daughter turns around and goes, sort it out.
You never explicitly see that. He goes because she dies.
That.
Well, it's left to interpretation.
He steals him and Tars. Oh, that's the other thing too. In Interstellar, Tars and the other one, the robots. I fucking love them. I forgot.
I do as well.
I went back and watched it, and I was like, "Oh my god, these are really cool characters," and they're giant fucking metal blocks.
But you see, people always disagree. My favorite Batman film from him is Batman Begins. And a lot of people disagree with me, and that's fine. I respect that. And I respect that Interstellar is not everyone. I think I like Interstellar, but the thing about a lot of his movies is the way those movies end. It leaves you up to interpretation, and those are his best movies. You know, Inception, Interstellar. It does leave it up.
But just going back to Interstellar, there is no reason that he didn't go back and help Brand. Why would he steal an escape like a shuttlecraft from whatever?
He steals a ship, but we don't know. We don't know if he makes it. You never know. I think he makes it, and I think you're right.
But you don't. Makes it.
But you see her at the end. You see her at the end on her own, and that's how I like to think of it. But I know that Nolan's sort of said a few different endings to that film, and it's the same with Inception. He likes to screw with people, you know. And you could argue that the ending to Oppenheimer has a bit of a left open. I mean, the line he drops, whether the character in question ever said it historically, and bearing in mind who the character is that says it, I don't know. But it's a fucking good. It's a thinker of a line at the end. I will give it. Oppenheimer has a kind of a good ending. It has a poignant ending, I should say. The line is poignant. It makes you think.
Just on a note about the Prestige, and I'll say this again. Nolan on a bad day is still fucking better than most directors on a good day. So I think I need to go and rewatch The Prestige because my brain has forgotten chunks of it. I always knew it was the twins. I always knew it was the twins from start to finish because I know about magic tricks and whatnot.
I love Prestige. Don't get me wrong, Biffa. I love The Prestige. I think David Bowie's performance in that is amazing, and I love The Prestige. I'm picking Interstellar because there are aspects of Interstellar I like. And I know all three of them have got Michael Caine in. I just like Michael Caine's performance in Interstellar. There's aspects I like about Interstellar. It's a difficult choice because Inception and Prestige are up there for me.
I'll be honest, for me, it's Inception because it has the happiest ending.
It
has the happiest ending. Out of all of them, it has the happiest ending.
Well, hang on. In your mind.
No, it hasn't. All right, explain.
No. I'm sorry, right? If it's a dream, that is not a happy ending. Right? Now we all think it wasn't a dream, and that the spinning top falls down, and therefore he's home and he's with his kids, and that's how I choose to see how that film ends. But Nolan's screwed with people for years over this, right? And it was done on purpose.
All right, let me just throw this into the mix. What happens if he's dead?
There's a very
There you go. I've made it extra complicated. He has a happy ending. Right. Cillian Murphy's character gets closure with his father. Yeah. All the other people there were there to help him out. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Got to see his kids. He got over the death of his wife. That's a happy ending, regardless of the spinning top.
Yeah, I'll give you that. And it's Leonardo DiCaprio, by the
way. Okay. You score a point there for Leonardo DiCaprio.
But I like the trouble is, I love The Prestige. I love Inception. I love Interstellar. I love Batman Begins. I like all three of the Batman movies, but I like Batman Begins the most. As a Batman fan, I like Batman Begins the most. But I'm gonna have to go back and watch Tenet again because I think Biff is right about that. That it is a masterpiece, and I think he is right. I need to go back and watch it again.
Oh no, I'm a weirdo because I liked it. I like the fact they did something different. I like the fact it's one of those ones you can go back, rewatch, and find newer things in it, which is always good for a nice rewatch. The other thing too is next time you watch Inception, when they land on Miller's world, which is the black hole world with the big waves, keep an eye out for Miller's body in the background. Yeah, it's in the background and it's on the wide shots. Yeah, because there'll be a wide shot where you've got the space shuttle, you've got one of the astronauts, I can't remember his name, the poor fucker who gets abandoned at the end, and then in the corner, I think it's the right corner, you can see Miller's body floating in the water.
I think
because they died moments beforehand, and I'm just like, I was waiting for it, and I was like with my son, it's like there, it's there. Can you see it? It's like kind of, and it does it like that. Really annoying. Still, anyway, Prestige, good film, great film. If you asked me to sit down and watch Prestige, I would not. Okay, yep, sure, get in the popcorn. Fantastic film. Nothing wrong with it. I think it's fantastic, and I'm with Steve. He does go back and help her. Of course, he goes back and helps her.
Yeah,
that's your.
I think I agree with you. I think I agree. I think that's how the way I interpret it. Anyway, I'm just saying that it's not explicitly said, but that is the way I interpret. But no, look, I think people should see. I think people should see Oppenheimer. I think you should see it at the cinema because it's made for cinema. Certainly, the first half of that film, the performances are amazing. Robert Downey Jr. is brilliant in this film. I think it is too long. I think it is a bit pretentious in places. There is time skipping and time hopping, but it kind of makes sense once you kind of realize where all the hops are happening. It does kind of make sense. And as I said, it has quite a poignant ending.
Okay. I'm going to summarize it like this. Go watch Oppenheimer, don't see Barbie. There you go.
Yeah, but I mean, unfortunately, Barbie is the clear winner.
Not yet. Not yet. We've got to wait 4 weeks. 4 weeks. Yes. Give it 4 weeks. Because it may just drop off a cliff. We don't know. I'm interested. I don't know why Barbie's so freaking popular. I've got a feeling that people have taken their kids to see it and not realised it's ends with "Now I have a vagina." Which,
I think San Diego Comic-Con is on at the moment because they've released the Strange New Worlds crossover episode early with what is it? Fucking Lower Decks. God, I mean, right. You take a serious show, right, which Strange New Worlds is meant to be, then you cross it over with a cartoon. You have a guy walking around with purple hair. And next week, we've got a musical episode. What the fuck?
Jeez, this is what happens when you put women in charge of male things. Just saying.
A musical episode of Star Trek. I mean, a fucking musical, a fucking musical episode of Star Trek with them going singing and dancing and on the bridge of the Enterprise. It's like, fuck off with this shit. Anyway, no, Strange New Worlds has been, it's just no. It's a bit like the first season. It's had one good episode.
Let's move on to Apple TV's Hijack. I haven't seen much of it, but last week's one kind of left me going, tastes really bland, like a Jacob's cream cracker with no butter on.
Hijack. I want to know where it's going. The son is involved because you find out that they sent along his name. So, like, Idris Elba's name is sent along to the people that are operating on the ground. You find out that it's to do with. Yeah, it could end up really blandly because if it ends up with it's controlled crime. If it ends up like Line of Duty, where you build and build and build, they've been building for the first 4 episodes. Oh, it's organised crime. Bye. It's like I don't know, and I have a feeling it might end like that. I have a feeling it might end like that.
As I said, the only interesting way it ends is that Idris Elba orchestrated the whole thing and gets away with it.
and I don't think they're building to that. I like
do that.
the idea of it. I like the idea of it, but I don't think they're building to that. I don't think they're building to that. To be honest, I didn't enjoy this. I enjoyed the episode that you thought was bland. I kind of enjoyed this week's episode. I was a bit meh. You know, I mean, I have stuck with Secret Invasion only because I like Samuel L. Jackson, and this week was truly bad as well.
I can give you a lobotomy for free
because I like the fact that Disney have made that this huge adult thing, and they're only still giving us 35-minute episodes a week. It's an absolute rip-off, and it feels so cheap. Anyway, I actually want to talk a little bit about Foundation because they did something interesting this week, which I didn't expect to come so early. They showed us the mule, and the dude that they've cast as the mule is quite interesting. It is you don't know the end of
the story of Foundation. Right. It was written by a guy who disappeared after Sri Lanka to be a pedo. I'm not too keen on it.
Isaac Asimov went off to.
Oh no, sorry, it's Clark. It was Clark. Arthur C. Clarke was the pedo. I got too confused.
Asimov is the this is the Lord of the Robots dude. Asimov. Yeah, so the mule comes in. So right, they've kind of we knew they mentioned the second Foundation at the end of the first series, and that was something that didn't really crop up in the books until quite a long way, and it was kind of like a bit of a twist in the thing. They've already mentioned it, so I thought they've mentioned the second Foundation, so at some point the mule's got to turn up. The guy that is playing the mule is the dad in Sex Education that's screwing Scully, Gillian Anderson.
Oh, it's the Norwegian plumber.
Yeah, they've cast him now. Actually, he really does play quite. When he's in this, he's quite freaky, and that's what the mule is. So they showed off the mule. This season's been better. This season has been better. It's interesting. The Foundation is a bit corrupted. The Foundation is now using religion, but like fake religion to gain supporters for the coming war with Empire, and so they're showing the corruption of Foundation as much as the Empire. The plan is off. So you've got like one version of Harry, who's been locked in what I can't remember what they call it, the Tesseract thing, for 136 years. So his brain's gone a bit thingy. I enjoyed the second episode, and again, the stuff that's going on with the Cleons. It's like they've made this more interesting than the first season. So far, I'm enjoying it. I have to admit. And the fucking effects in this just look way better than most TV. It's certainly better than anything Marvel's done. It does. It looks good. It does look good. And I'm interested in the story of this.
It's the gender swap, race swapped character that they picked a shit actress to do. Is the bit that put me off.
She's been better in this. Her interactions.
It's annoying because there's another character that she was working with who was in Harry Potter. I think he was Dean in Harry. He played Dean in Harry Potter. Yeah. He would have made it much better. It would have been fine with him. And I don't know why he wasn't cast.
Well, he's the dad. He plays her dad. Salvor Hardin is who you're talking about, and you're right. It's a male character in the books. In the first series it didn't work. So far, the interactions between the two of them in the second has been quite good. And again, there's more weight to it now. She's. I mean, there's less of her. But
Gal Dornick. Sorry, I had to look this up.
Gal Dornick was always a girl. Salvor Hardin was a boy.
No, Gal Dornick was a dude.
Really?
I'm sure Gal Dornick was a dude.
I think you're talking about Salvor Hardin. Because Salvor Hardin was the first, what do they call it, ranger or sheriff or whatever they call it of
No, we're talking about the one who figured out the maths problem who lived in the water world.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's Gal Dornick.
That's the character that drives me up the fucking wall. Seriously.
Yeah. Her South African accent keeps creeping through. That's the only criticism, right? In the first series, you didn't really hear it, right? But in the second series, you really do hear it. It keeps creeping in, and you keep hearing it. And that makes me giggle. Baxter's obviously left because of disgust at me saying that Amstrad's are better. Which is the truth.
I met. Do you know the Oliver twins who programmed Magic Land Dizzy and all that lot?
Yes, you met them.
Yeah. Guess what? Guess what's their choice PC games PC at the time? It was the Amstrad. They said it out loud. I was like, "Fuck yes." But hey, no, Gail Dornick's the dude.
Okay, fair enough. So was Salvor Harden.
Yeah, so it was. To be honest with you, if it's the black lady who plays the sheriff person, I wasn't bothered by her because she could act.
Yes, true.
But the other one, it just pissed me off because she looked like she was smirking all the time, like she thought this was something silly that she was doing, and it never solved me. That irritated the fuck out of me, especially when we were spending most of our time following them around.
I find. I mean, Lee Pace has been really good in these two episodes. Lee Pace is brilliant. He was okay, but he was a bit sort of ham as the Emperor. Now that we've got into sort of slightly genetically drifting emperors, he plays this slightly psycho, slightly paranoid, slightly bonkers version of the Klingon a day really well, and the interaction with the other two now, because of the mistrust and the fact that they're not now synced, that makes it more interesting. So I've been really, I mean, again, the most compelling viewing of this is when he's on the screen. I mean, that was what I liked about the first series. It was that his interactions with everyone else, but it's really good in this. I mean, you get a lot more of Harry in this so far, so that's been good because I like the actor that plays him, another South African actor, who keeps playing, who has a very good English accent. He's South African.
Well, Jared Harris.
Yeah, I think he's South African, isn't he? I'm pretty sure he is. Are you
British?
I think he's not. You know.
I'm trying to play. But how much money? How much money? Quickly. How much money? Quickly. 20 quid.
I'm not going to buy a British actor.
Another T-shirt. He was born in London.
All right, fair. No, I'm not giving you another T-shirt. I'm not fucking.
You still haven't given me any. Bloody Chuck has given me a.
Bloody, and Chuck said that on my behalf, and you won't accept it.
That doesn't count. I won't accept it on his behalf. Chuck got free plugs. Chuck got free advertising for us. That's what he got from that because he was good enough to do that. Anyway, yeah. Should we look at the Ahsoka trailer? No, sorry.
Yeah, go on then, because I was going to say.
Do you know where I can find it? Because I've been looking for it. Because I know you're going to figure out somewhere cramming Star Wars in it. I might as well lean into it.
I was not going to. It's only because bloody watching my face mentioned it. I thought, right, screw you. There's been a new Ahsoka. It's a new Ahsoka trailer.
Right, find me the Ahsoka trailer because I'll do that, and then we've got the Star Trek Discovery trailer, haven't we?
No, it's a clip, and it lasts about 4 minutes. It's not worth watching. It's dreadful.
Oh, okay.
Somebody tried to.
Maybe we'll talk about how dreadful it is with it running in the background.
I commented on it on a Facebook group, and somebody tried to cancel me, saying
cancel you.
Oh yeah, because I said it looks awful, so they reported me for it. I said all I said was it looks awful, which it does. This is another person who can't deal with a difference of opinion. These are the people that watch Star Trek Discovery. If you don't like Star Trek Discovery, you're an ist. No, it's just shit. There you go. Private chat, Gareth. Private chat. Private chat.
I thought you were going to share it.
Oh no, you're better at it than I.
I'm not. That's okay. So this is the. Hang on. So I need to.
This is the
onto the other screen.
Thorn reveal trailer. Even though you only seen for about 1 second.
I just, what I had? I didn't have thong. I had thorn. I had thong. Ahsoka in it.
That would be better.
Ahsoka That'd be so much more interesting. It's gonna be terrible, isn't it? Mm-hmm. The question is can they make a what do you call it, a trailer?
I want it to be good. I want it to be good because I don't want Dave Filoni's crown to kind of fall. But no, I think it is going to be terrible. That's my the way they had it at bloody Celebration. It was just the way they were forces female shit again. That's what worries me. But go on. And Ahsoka was never that.
It's fucked. I'm sorry.
War is inevitable. One must destroy in order to create. We are no Jedi.
I'm just sad this is Ray Stevenson's last thing I'll probably see him in. Just putting that out there.
I started hearing whispers of Thrawn's return as heir to the Empire.
What happens when we find Thrawn?
Power, such as you've never dreamed.
I've spent most of my life fighting a war.
She was Miss Chopper. She doesn't work as Hera. She does not work.
You and I both know who could help you with this.
Her voice, everything.
Just as stubborn as ever.
She does work.
I bet your master found you difficult at times.
Anakin never got to finish my training. I walked away from him, just like I walked away from Sabine.
You never made things easy for me.
Right, look, right, can I just look?
But that's the fault.
Right, hang on a second. So let's just.
You never made things easy for me.
That fucking delivery is worse than seeing a quadriplegic man try and deliver a pizza. I'm sorry, you're sitting there going, "Oh, she's good." That line.
No, she works better. She works better for me than the other girl. The other girl. The other girl does.
That's fine. But
miscast when you look at the Rebels.
Still terrible.
Master.
Who's directing this? Who's
Dave
casting
Filoni.
this?
As a Jedi.
Then Dave Filoni needs to get fucked. I'm sorry. That's
what I'm worried about.
Hang on a second. If I saw the dailies for this, this isn't a Dave Filoni story. This is someone else's story. The Thrawn trilogy was, I think everyone describes it as probably the more exciting parts of Star Wars that happened after Return of the Jedi. Yeah. So.
Jedi. Sometimes you have to make the decision no one else can.
He doesn't look anything right.
But I'm counting on you to see this through.
Nice haircut. Sometimes we have to do what's right, regardless of our person.
Rebels.
I don't know how I feel about that.
You see, they've changed Hera. They've changed Hera. They've even changed the look of Hera to fit more. Hera was short, right? Hera was always short and stocky. She was short and stocky.
I wouldn't describe her as stocky, but she was.
No, but she was quite short. She had quite large legs. She wasn't like twig thin, and she didn't have this voice. She was down to earth, Hera.
Okay.
And this girl's got horse face. She's like a Phoebe Waller-Bridge wannabe. When you see her, she's a Phoebe Waller-Bridge wannabe. Horse face.
No.
Buckle up.
If we don't stop Thrawn, everything will be in vain.
That's cool. There he is.
Back, yeah.
And he works. He works. Immediately he works as Thrawn.
But they've chopped out the Thrawn trilogy story and they've inserted it into Rebels and glued on Ahsoka.
Yeah, I know. I know.
It's gonna be a pale imitation of the story that we were expecting, if that makes any sense.
I think you're right.
Will be in vain. You have no power.
Anakin spoke highly of you.
I'm not here to discuss my past.
We have a lot of work to do.
Once a rebel, always a rebel.
Yeah, I know. Right, I know Thrawn isn't a Jedi, is he? He's not a Jedi, he's not a Sith, he has no Force powers. He's just an alien who trained, who knows what he's doing. He's the last competent person left in the Empire, shall we say? Yeah.
Bit evil.
So you've got a Jedi after him, or a trainee Jedi after him, and maybe some Sith too.
She's not a Jedi. She's argued, but she is master level.
No. They said in this she's a Jedi. We know she's not.
No,
a Jedi.
she says I'm no Jedi. She says I'm no Jedi in the trailer. She says I'm no Jedi. She's not a Jedi. I think it's the first trailer. She says I'm no Jedi.
No, I'm sure she says I'm a Jedi, because when we watched that first trailer, that was one of my big criticisms of it. So this. Do you want to hear something funny? I'll tell you in a second. Do you know what vibes I'm getting from this?
Go
on. Jodie Whittaker's first season of Doctor Who, where there's no universe outside what's going on. It doesn't feel. There's no.
What Disney is spending no money on these series now. I mean, you look at like Secret Invasion; it looks cheap. You know, they've even got a line. Why haven't you called any of your friends? And Fury goes, because I've got to deal with this on my own. Because no. What you should have said is because we haven't got the budget. That's what you should have said, right?
It's like
yeah.
No, I'm done. I've been done with Star Wars for a good while.
No, I wasn't trying. I didn't think this would suck you back in, but I like seeing Chopper. But I don't like the casting of Hera. She's a Phoebe Waller-Bridge wannabe, and that doesn't work for me. Hera was short. Hera was not tall and skinny and bony, and she wasn't a horse face. Hera was this.
All right, hang on a second. So my first problem is, and I'd like to put it, surprise woman. So
Yeah.
Where's all the dudes? Surprise woman. They're oh, fuck me. No.
Well, it is
sorry.
okay. It is an Ahsoka TV series, so you can't. But you're right. There is a lot of surprise women in this.
It's just like it's a Ahsoka TV series, so I expect to see Ahsoka, yeah. Which I am imagining they're gonna bloody Mandalorian her, yeah. So all of a sudden she won't be the lead in her own story because they somehow can't commit to that properly. The other bit too is I don't know. Oh, no, it's going to be.
But you see, this is the thing. They're not going to have people viewing it. They're not going to have people watching this. No, I don't think they are, and this is why somehow Obi-Wan's got all of these, fucking Emmy awards. When the only decent Star Wars series they've had on Disney Plus is Andor. It took a guy on fucking YouTube to recut Obi-Wan into a 2-hour movie to make it actually semi-entertaining. It's still shit, but it's a much better fucking cut than the crappy TV series version of it. How does that get Emmy awards? There's nothing award-winning about it. It's a load of shit. I'm just laughing because I'm just watching Disney crash and burn. And I don't think they can Picard season 3 their way out of this one. So I think they're done. I genuinely think Disney are done.
It comes down to the refusal of like just carrying out. This is just. I find this. I'm actually quite distressed by just the amount of money they fucking wasted. Think of all the charitable work they could have done around the world. They could have dug like 100,000 wells in Africa for people to have clean drinking water. Instead, they wanted to make this shit. And they'll want to sit there. They want to pretend to be the moral ones. Is the other thing too that gets me.
If I can get like Disney Plus for like 10p a month, right, which is pretty much what I pay for it, through my mobile phone company, I wouldn't have it. I would have dropped it by now. And the only thing I'm using Netflix for now is rewatches and things. I rewatched all of Silicon Valley. I'll tell you what I did last week. I watched most of Silicon Valley in a week. And remembered how much some of that I really enjoyed. Actually, some of that is very funny. I watched all that on HBO. I'm rewatching Suits at the moment because I've got nothing better to watch. There is just there's not that much on. I mean, what do I get on a Wednesday? I get Secret Invasion, which has been crap, and Hijack, which is the last episode wasn't that great. On Thursdays, I get Strange New World. It's been shit. It's just gone from bad to worse. You just, I don't know what they're thinking. I know what they're thinking. They're all fucked because no one's working. Everyone's on strike. They can stay there because they're not capable of producing anything. Good news is though that most of the people in England aren't striking. Like House of the Dragon is currently on her. The only thing, right, that I'm when they listed all these fucking films out that have been affected by this, right, the only things that I'm gutted about at the moment is Andor season 2, which I genuinely would like to see, and Deadpool the movie. I'm pissed off about Deadpool 3 going on hiatus because I really want to see that, especially when you just see they keep increasing the star. They've got what's his face from the TVA in it now, the guy from Loki.
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson's now on the cast of this, and I thought I've got to see that. I want to see that. I genuinely do want to see Owen Wilson's character up against.
I'm really hoping he just rips the piss out of the multiverse. This is how stupid it is.
Of course, that's what he's going to do. Because he did that in it's going to be, breaking the third wall this time. The fucking My Mum, Martha Mum, that dig at DC in Deadpool 2 is still fucking spot on. It's just spot on.
The one that gets me is the Juggernaut theme tune. Holy shitballs. Yes. Then it's like, you watch it and you're like kind of, oh my God, it's Juggernaut. And the music's going off in the background. Then all of a sudden you click and it's like, are they singing Holy Shitballs?
Patrick Stewart's turned up. Apparently, he's going to be in it. Yeah, they're all in it. They're all fucking in it, and I'm up for it. I'm up for it. As long as they don't marvel it. As long as Feige. If that fucking thing has this is a Kevin Feige production on it, right? I will be very annoyed. I will be very annoyed.
Absolutely screwed if it's got Kevin Feige production in it.
But you've got to watch this week's Secret Invasion just for the fucking line. Why haven't your special friends turned up, Fury? The only good thing about Secret Invasion, right? There is one thing that has been really good about Secret Invasion. Olivia Colman's fucking brilliant in it. It's like, fuck Fury, right? If we just had Olivia Colman going around the Market Universe being, very English and slightly fucking sadistic, and she does it really well, right? That would have been good. That I would have watched. That I would have sat there. Fuck all the fucking thing. We just like Olivia Colman is like a secret, thing. She is brilliant in this. So that's the only thing I will say. The only thing I've enjoyed about Secret Invasion is Olivia Colman. When she's on there, she's fucking great, and she's very English. She's like your English auntie with a very sadistic side, and it comes out in a very English way. She's brilliant. She's brilliant. It's worth watching for Olivia Colman. Shit. But she's generally quite good at it. You will smile at her bits.
I got bored and started fast forwarding through it.
I'll just fast forward it to the Olivia Colman bits, but the bit where she like tortures a Skrull, and then this week where she fucking kills her boss because he's a Skrull, and she does it in just English. She's good. She is good. She's the only good thing in it. And there are lines that are going to make you go, oh, like that and cringe, but
Anyway.
What can I say? Yes.
Spider-Man.
Ah, yes.
Shall we look at some Spider-Man? Let's look at some Spider-Man. The story in the first Spider-Man game was brilliant. The Miles Morales game wasn't too bad storyline-wise. So I'm expecting something, but I am worried that it's going to go crap because of something. So...
A lot's happened in the last 10 years. It's a miracle I'm even sitting here now. I got a second chance. And I'm going to take advantage of that.
So we've got Peter, which I preferred his face in the first game. I know what they've done because they got in the first game they got his face and they merged it with, it was Tobey Maguire meets Andrew Garfield in one person, but they've gone Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and then they put Tom Holland on top of it. Just looks a bit computer generated.
I preferred the look of the first look of Pete. Yeah.
I need you with me, Pete. We're gonna heal the world.
Guys, this is my best friend Harry.
Hey, Good to meet you.
New job, huh? Still gonna have time for tutoring?
We'll figure it out.
I didn't know there were bears in these woods.
I love a bit of sucky Spider-Man. That's one thing. It's because he's got his spider sense and he can dodge people, this, that, and the other. Sucky Spider-Man fits.
MJ, I have another name for you. Craven. He's here on some kind of hunt. No, if you need me, I'm just a call away. Hey, you don't know what you took from me.
All Miles talks about is how to be a better Spider-Man. How to help you.
What the hell's going on with Pete?
He's not himself. Go help him.
They've changed MJ as well.
This was our dream. I'm not going to lose him.
We're going to heal the world.
I think he gets to play as Venom.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is if you listen to, they released a piece of music from it called, I think it's Better Together. And it had a piece of music which is clearly Spider-Man. It had a piece of music that was clearly Miles Morales. And it had a piece of music that clearly was very ominous and, oh, something's going on. And it gave me the feeling that and looking at that, if he's smashing helicopters in that, I think you might get to play as Venom for a few bits in it. Ah, man. I am... Let's have a look. It was... The environments look... Look at that. Environmental-wise. That looks fantastic.
It does look good.
It does look good.
It does look good.
They've Kirsten Dunst to her. And I think they've done a mix-up with her too.
They have. MJ looks different, yeah.
Yeah. Where's the thing? Because there was... It looks like it... the oh, I've got to find the bloody area now. So there. That's what I was after. Looks like it's Alien. Rather, because there was some bits where they had a non-alien version of Venom. It needs to be the symbiote. It needs to be...
Oh, no, it needs to be the alien symbiote. No, that is Venom. And Venom is an alien.
Yeah. There's stories that are told where he's not. And the ones that they haven't with, that's the one where Harry Osborn was... Venom and not Eddie Brock, and that's my big bit where I'm pissed off because Eddie Brock is the bit that it also looks like Miles might go through a bit of tragedy in this too.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Someone that looks like they've killed or hurt someone.
It could be Pete. It could be Pete's been taken over by Venom, and that might be what's going on. I think you're going to play a lot as Spider-Man. I think you're going to get the option to switch between the two. I absolutely understand and share your fears. I also loved the story to both the first two games, so I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. But at the same time, I have apprehension too, because every computer game I've played has had some stupid woke nonsense in it. Star Wars. Jedi Survivor had, was partially ruined by stupid wokeness. So I can understand where you're coming from on this. And I'm looking forward to it because I love the thing. It's not going to get Game of the Year.
Why is that?
Because that's going to Zelda. Zelda's already got that. Zelda's got it. And if it doesn't, it's robbed. It depends when it is. Zelda's got to have it. I mean, that game is flawless. If Zelda doesn't get Game of the Year, then there's something wrong with the world. But having said that, I'm really looking forward to the Spider-Man game because I loved the first one. But this looks good. It does look good. And I have a PS5 to play it on.
Yeah. so Zelda's up against the Resident Evil 4 remake, which was fantastic. Jedi Survivor, which was okay until you got some bits to the end. Diablo 4, nerd bait for that one. The Final Fantasy new game that came out. Starfield.
Zelda's gonna Now Starfield looks interesting, but I still think Zelda's gonna get it. I think Zelda will get it because of the sheer amount that's in it, the sheer size of it, the sheer level of gameplay in it, the fact that it is you can play that game from fucking at the count, you know.
See, the reason I'm not that turned on by that game. I've played lots of Zelda games, and I'm just.
You didn't play Breath of the Wild either. You never played Breath of the Wild.
No, I didn't get me either. It just looked a bit. There's. It's funny because I played Wind Waker and I really enjoyed Wind Waker, and that's one that people despised Zelda-wise. But something about those last couple of Zelda games that are not like the original ones that I've played, and I've played from the NES. I've played from the NES all the way up to the GameCube.
What they do is they take an open world game and they do it how an open world game should be done. You can climb on everything. You can move on everything. You can interact with everything.
I have played a ton of open world games that have.
And I've never played. Really?
Yeah.
To that level.
Yeah.
Because I've never played an open world game that has it to that level. Not quite like Zelda. Everything. Not quite like how they've done it in Zelda.
You've not played any of the Fallout games, so you haven't even played games where you go to an area and the area has a story by itself that you can you can walk around and then figure out what happened to these people.
But that's what Zelda has.
No,
trust me. In Tears it does. There's more things hidden under there.
I will point you at some Fallout lore channels where you go, the Dunwich building in Fallout 3. Have you heard about the Dunwich building in Fallout 3? Yeah.
But I can point you at the same videos that say that it's different videos that say it's better in Zelda. I don't know is the honest answer.
But I'm just saying I've played lots of open world games, and the Zelda one doesn't. I would have got a Switch, and I would be playing it otherwise. But for some reason, it looks like nuts and bolts. Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts.
Once you get past the graphical look of it, and I admit
it's not that it has a fit. That Zelda has a feel to it. Yeah. There's a feel to it, like an exciting adventure sort of thing, and they don't seem to have exciting adventure feel to them, which I think it's kind of been diluted over the time. It's like when they did the Metroid game, and they did the 2D version of Metroid, and everyone's like, kind of, oh, it's got a storyline. The storyline didn't bother me, but the game was missing something, because when you play the Metroid games, you are out on a planet, you're on your own, no one's coming to rescue you. Yeah. You have to sort this out, and if you don't sort this out, there's going to be consequences. And it always had that feel to it. Yeah, it had that kind of bit to it where the ones that you've been playing, they've not had that. They've really not had that probably since Wind Waker. I'll be frank with you. They've not had that going out and being.
There's a lot more dungeons and puzzle solving in the latest one. Than there was in Breath of the Wild, but I always found Breath of the Wild was my favorite game.
But you haven't played the other ones, have you? So you haven't played Links to the Past. I think Links to the Past is the best one. Then there's Ocarina of Time. It's weird. I'm talking about games on the wrong bloody podcast. Hang on. No, let me just. I could switch the layout over to the Gaming Face Punch one, but it's missing something. It really is.
I think it will win. I think it will win.
I don't.
Maybe you should play it. Maybe you should play it because I think Tears.
I think
Tears
I'll play
is very different.
I think I'll play it, and I think I'll put it down. That's my damning indictment of it. I will put because a good game you don't put down. A good game. It's it's 2:00 in the morning. I've got to go to work tomorrow. That's even though game's good.
But I haven't put it down. I've been thinking about it and thinking up various vehicles to make in order to combat certain things and do things.
I'll be honest with you, that's not Zelda. That's
But
not
I've
fair.
heard this. I've heard this. Well, there is, because there's also the lot of the lore mixed in, like landing on a dragon, and collecting things, because I've got to collect a load of dragon bloody scales. So I've got to keep tracking down the fucking light dragon so that I can upgrade my armor so I can go and take on Ganon. And at the moment, I am nowhere near strong enough to take on Ganon. And there's a few other things that I want to do. I've pretty much explored the deep now with me tank. It's fucking awesome. The tank was awesome. The tank was fucking awesome.
You shouldn't. Right, that's the other thing too. You should never have a tank in Zelda. You get a horse. You get a horse. You get a really good shield and a really good sword. A bow
I've
and
got
arrow,
horses.
Yeah.
I've got a
I know,
supersized horse that I call Little Dave.
But it doesn't. I don't think it's. No, they've not had the appeal. They really haven't had that appeal. The Mario game. What's the Mario game with the hat? That's had more appeal. Odyssey.
I've enjoyed Zelda far more. Look, I've enjoyed these games, but I get why some people might not. Especially if you played the old ones.
I need to get you playing some other games, and you'll go. You may not agree with me, but you'll understand where I'm coming from. It's like if like Fallout New Vegas, I'm not joking. In Fallout New Vegas, as you are leaving the first settlement, where after you've recovered from being shot in the head by Matthew Perry, I'm not joking when I say that. Yeah, you go past a fridge, and in the fridge is the corpse of Indiana Jones. And I'm not joking when I say that.
Genius.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. That's pretty clever.
And
that's genius.
That's fantastic in game.
I'll give you that. We'll see. But just to finish off, because we've been going a while now. I'm with you about your concerns for Spider-Man. I have the same ones because it just keeps cropping up in all the games. But I'm less worried about it being Harry Osborn being Venom. I'm more concerned about them doing stupid things and interjecting lots of stupid things. And I really don't need to play as MJ anywhere. I don't need to play as MJ. I want to play Spider-Man in a Spider-Man fucking game. My only criticism of the original Spider-Man game was I had to play as MJ and I was bored shitless of that.
Right, so the one thing I did like when I was playing as MJ is when I finished it off and then Spider-Man turned up.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
As soon as Spider-Man, because that's the only thing, is like he's going to come and rescue her. He comes and rescue her. Now I'm Spider-Man and now I get to fight these guys.
Agreed.
Anyway, let's call it.
Okay.
Anyway, guys. Right, I'm going to hide him away because I don't trust him. Don't say anything. I don't trust him. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for those guys listening. We will catch you next week, and maybe I've seen something next week. And then actually no, it's trying to stop screwing around with the thing. Look, there we go. Bye. Wave bye, Keith.
Bye. Yeah, I was flagging. Nearly.
No, we're still live.
How are we still live?
Why are we still live?
I don't know why we're still live.